Hi everybody, this is Barry Schwartz from the Search Buzz Video Recap. Today is Friday, May 28th. It's actually my anniversary, and my fourth anniversary. And I thought we'd get started today. Again, this is the news we covered over the past week at the Search and Roundtable. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and the Search and Roundtable is at seroundtable.com. We're doing this live as well, and hopefully more people will join. I just tweeted about it, and we'll accept live questions in the chat room or on Twitter at RustyBrick. As we go through the show, and I'll try to incorporate those as we go. Alright, so the big news this week, out of all the bigger news, is I guess pretty much May Day. We discussed May Day over the past month or so. We discussed it on May 3rd, May 14th, May 25th, and now we're going to discuss it one more time because Google has finally confirmed that May Day update is official. Basically, this May Day update was perceived to affect some sites in some areas that have lots and lots of pages, that have lots of long-tail keywords that they rank for. And a lot of people are saying basically that the May Day update, which started about May 1st, May 2nd, is affecting their long-tail keyword traffic. And obviously, we've been discussing this for about a month, and Vanessa Fox and the team at Search Engine Land finally, started to look into it because I said, this is already my third post, and WebmasterWorld's going crazy about it. There's posts everywhere about this, and yet Google really there's some rumors that Google confirmed it at Google I/O, and we finally got Google to go on record with an official quote from their press team announcing that this is really an algorithm update. So Vanessa Fox pulled some more information about it. She basically claimed. She basically figured out from Google that it's a ranking algorithm change, not a crawler change, not an indexer change, but a ranking algorithm change. And basically, I'm just trying to get more people in the chat room. So I'm trying to tweak this as I go, and it's a little bit hard to do both at the same time, but trying anyway. So basically. We have a post about that today on May 28th, where Matt Cutts was quoted at Google I/O saying, "This is an algorithm change in Google, looking for higher quality sites to surface for long tail queries. It went through very, very rigorous testing and is not going to be rolled back." So basically, Matt Cutts is saying, this is the way it is, this is how it's happening, they tested this significantly, and they're not going to change it. So if your site is not ranking any longer for those keywords, those long tail keywords, then obviously you're going to need to do stuff to make your site be perceived to be more authoritative in the eyes of Google. So that's basically what's happening over here. There was also a redesign, which people are saying affected their rankings because the redesign is slightly different and less people are clicking on their results, but that's also there as well. So we discussed this twice this week, one on May 28th and May 25th, and I'll post those links in the chat room as well. The next major change this week, or it was actually late Friday, Google launched SSL search. Basically, it allows you to search Google without worrying that people are going to sniff your query traffic. So now if you go to Google on your open network, if you just go to google.com, if people are sniffing around, they can pick up the queries that you're searching for on your network. That is all great, but Google finally announced that they're going to launch the HTTPS version. So you go to https://www.google.com, and now if somebody's trying to sniff your traffic as you're doing searches, they won't be able to. They will be able to see once you go off the SSL, so if you click on a search result, they'll be able to see what you're doing, but they won't be able to see your searches on Google SSL search. Google's slowly rolling out more SSL features for other properties like maps and whatever, my product search and stuff like that, but right now it's on Gmail, it's on Analytics, it's on Google Search and stuff like that. This is an opt-in feature only. You have to go to HTTPS to get it. It does not. Webmasters and webmasters and SEOs are upset because you're not able to actually see the referrals you get from Google. So somebody does a search, for a keyword that you rank well for on SSL search, and they click over to your search result, you'll know that you won't know what keyword they search for because Google. You'll know that it came from https.google.com, but you won't know what keyword they search for because by definition, HTTPS drops off all referred data. That's not a Google thing; it's a SSL thing. So if you want more information about this, May 24th, at seroundtable.com. This morning I reported that Google Alerts has updated their algorithm as well. A lot of people over the past few weeks have been complaining, or past week or so have been complaining that Google's alerts, they're getting less of them, and they wanted to be getting more, and they're getting less. The question is why? So Google basically came into WebmasterWorld where people were discussing this, and they basically admitted that they have updated their algorithm. They're trying to make it more quality, and they don't want to show less quality stuff in these search results in the Google alerts because people were getting annoyed, I guess, that they're getting too many alerts for things that were not relevant. So Google has tweaked their alerts algorithm to be more qualitative and to become more quality, and now people are complaining that they're not able to see much enough in there. So basically, Google's Marcel, the product manager of Google Alerts team, basically said if you want to see more results, go to your Google Alerts and change the email length from 20 results to 50 results, and that should get you to see more things. There are a lot of people saying they're not seeing anything, and that's pretty much annoying some people. What else we got here? So the next topic we got is, last week we discussed how links in Site Explorer, Yahoo Site Explorer, what disappeared. I personally lost on Search and Roundtable about 100,000 links. If you checked it out over the weekend, you'll see that it returns. So now I pretty much gained back all my 100,000 links that I dropped off, and I'm back up to about 250,000 links reported by Yahoo Site Explorer, which is very nice. I'm very happy about that. And it's just back. So they went missing. I guess it was a bug. Yahoo never confirmed anything. It just went missing, and that was about it. I wanted to share with you some UI changes over at Google, and I'm going to go ahead and show you my screen as I do this. Obviously, you in the podcast will upload images, but those who are watching now, I'm going to go ahead and boost my screen up a little bit higher so you can actually see my screen. Okay. So here is my screen. Now, as you can see, the first thing I'm showing you is that Google is now not showing for some searchers, the estimated count in terms of, of the search result. About X amount of results have matched for that. So I did a search for Google Analytics, and I returned that Google Analytics showed about 36 million results are found in Google's database for Google Analytics results. But it also shows about 25 seconds. That line where it shows the estimated count results and also the estimated time it took to return the results has disappeared for some people. There's reports over at WebmasterWorld and Google Web Search. Think Mantra has some screenshots of it as well. Basically, Jimmy over at Google said this looks like a bug of some sorts, or maybe it's a test. He recommended people clear their browsers, clean their cache in the browsers to go ahead and fix that. So basically, that's one of the UI changes. Google seems to be dropping out the number of estimated search results, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's what's happening. The next UI change is Google News. Google News, as a reminder for those watching live, if you have any questions as I go, feel free to ask them in the chat room or reply me in Twitter at RustyBrick, and I'll answer your questions as I go. The next UI change is that Google News seems to be testing yet another new design. I posted some screenshots on the blog, and I'll include those in the podcast as well. And bottom line is, it looks pretty ugly. Current Google News looks pretty ugly to me, but it looks pretty ugly. The new design looks pretty ugly as well. Google confirmed that they're testing new design, and we found some screenshots at Google Blogoscope forums where Jerome posted some screenshots, and bottom line is he doesn't like it as well. So we have a post about this on May 28th if you want to take a look at deeper pictures of that as well. Another thing is, on the AdWords side, it seems Google's testing pink, grayish backgrounds. And I'm going to zoom this in for you guys to see. Here's a screenshot of the pinkish, grayish background that Google seems to be testing. It's funny because AdWords advisor at WebmasterWorld said he's not going to confirm it because every time he confirms or says he sees something or Google might be testing something, people take that as a confirmation. This looks to be true. It looks to be happening. But here's a screenshot, as you can see on the screen over here. There seems to be people testing these pink backgrounds, And like I said in my coverage on May 27th at SERoundtable.com, Google has initially started with a blue background back in 2004, 2003, or whenever they launched AdWords. And then in 2007, they switched to a yellow background. And then they tested some green backgrounds about a year or so ago. Then they've been flipping between blue and yellow backgrounds just to test how that works. And now this seems to be the first test of a pinkish, grayish background. So that's pretty cool to see Google constantly test these different backgrounds. Another thing that I noticed at WebmasterWorld, which kind of made me scratch my head, because a moderator and a senior member said, basically said that they've been noticing that your display URL has been showing on the same line as the description. And obviously I'm maybe missing something, but this is the way they've been doing this since 2004. If I mess something up over here, definitely take a look and let me know. But we posted about this today. We named the post Google AdWords display URL before ad description. So definitely take a look at that and tell me if I'm totally off or wrong. But I think they've been doing this display URL before the ad description in the featured ads. Since they started with AdWords. So I'm not really sure what this is talking about. I'm going to go ahead and click over to WebmasterWorld and see if anything changed. Yeah, so nobody really answered my question about what really changed, but that pretty much covers over the UI changes over at Google. Let's move over to AdSense. The big news on AdSense this week was that Google has confirmed that they are basically, we were always estimating how much an advertiser and a publisher made from the advertiser. So there was always estimates somewhere between 70 and 75% in terms of revenue share from ads placed on the content network as an AdSense publisher, how much Google shared of that to publishers. So advertisers paid Google, Google paid publishers for placing the ads on their website. Google confirmed this week for the first time that they do a 68% revenue share of the content ads, and they do a 51% revenue share of the search ads for AdSense publishers. Obviously they have different deals with different publishers, those premium publishers like Amazon and different publishers that have specialized deals with Google. But for the average person who signs up in the self-service program, they get 68% for the content ads and they get 51% for the search ads. And we have a blog post about that on May 24th. And on May 25th, we posted some screenshots showing that Google has added that over here to the beta interface of the Google AdSense console under account settings. So you'll see that they actually display next to each product what the revenue share percentage is. So that's pretty nice to have. Again, we have a lot of people now in the chat, watching it live. If you want to ask me questions as I go, either go in the chat room or use Twitter and just @reply me, and I'll reply to questions as I go if you have any questions. We're almost halfway, or more than halfway done through this session, through this podcast or videocast. The next thing I wanted to show was Google AdWords has now added an Ad Extensions tab to the AdWords console interface. Basically, what this means is that Ad Extensions was launched they've been launching new ad extensions. They come in the form of ad site links in the AdWords interface, product extensions, so you saw little products in the ads, video extensions, location extensions, click-to-call extensions, multiple address extensions, and stuff like that. So you were able to actually put more richer ad information in your ads, in your AdWords ads. And now Google has added an Ad Extensions tab, which basically gives you more detail in terms of seeing more statistics related to those ad extensions. So we have some screenshots on May 26th and how this works, and by default you should see them if you are using Google Ad Extensions. A major problem plaguing a lot of local businesses in Google Maps specifically is that a lot of Google Maps people have duplicate listings. And the issue with duplicate listings is that sometimes you're distributing your weight across different listings, and sometimes certain things rank that shouldn't, and they're not the premium things that you want to rank. So Google finally came out with documentation this week. We have posted about it yesterday, May 27th, basically describing what you should do in different scenarios. They have do multiple results for your business appear in Google Maps search results, and they also have a question: are multiple listings in your Google Places account for the same location? So if any of those apply to you, Google has detailed documentation on how to fix that, and hopefully that will resolve most Google local business places. They have so many names: Google Places, Google Maps, Google Local Business Center. Now it's Google Places, but it's hard to figure out what to say at certain points. So we have more details about that on May 27th. You can definitely take a look at that. The big web analytics news from Google was specifically that Google's analytics is now enabling people to opt out and anonymize IP address information. So now for users who are using the latest versions of Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, but not Safari, could add an add-on browser extension, which basically allows them to say, Google, we do not want you to have my information specifically for Google Analytics. And what that means is whoever adds this ad in, their traffic information will not be sent to the webmaster of that site, will not be sent to Google as well. Also, if you are a website owner, you can actually say, I want to anonymize my IP address information and knock off the last few digits of the IP information so it can't be tracked that extensively. So that's something new from Google Analytics. May 26th we have a post about it, and basically some webmasters are upset about that. We're almost done here, so just a few more topics. One is related to Google's Matt Cutts. He basically said in a WebmasterWorld thread, but obviously I'm going to just back up a little bit. WebmasterWorld is a popular forum, and they're asking for feedback this week or so. So if you go to WebmasterWorld.com, there is a feedback link, and they're asking for a lot of feedback. And part of that feedback, Google's Matt Cutts, who everybody knows, basically said he really wants WebmasterWorld to include links, allow people to post links and examples. And that's the main reason why he really doesn't come to WebmasterWorld anymore, because people are saying things, but they aren't really able to show him examples. And if you don't show him examples, he's not able to diagnose the issue and fix any problems related to Google. Also related to Matt Cutts and WebmasterWorld, Brett Tapke, who's the founder of WebmasterWorld, basically outed GoogleGuy one more time. He basically said in a comment on that post that I was talking about just before, when Matt Cutts was on WebmasterWorld as GoogleGuy for many years, that is what we have to deal with daily. But basically, he just outed Matt Cutts one more time. There was speculation back in 2006 that Matt Cutts confessed to being GoogleGuy, and that Brett Tapke confirmed it, and other people confirmed it. But that's just some past news from back in the day. Finally, we have some Google Doodles to share with you. This week on May 27th, they posted the Rainforest habitat logo from a girl named, Makenzie, or a guy named Makenzie Melton from Missouri. And he named it. He won the Google for Doodle competition this year out of 33,000 submissions from people, and his doodle was placed on Google.com worldwide, all over the world. And basically, I personally like the logo. You can take a look at it over here on the screen. It's very, very pretty, very, very nice. So congratulations to Makenzie. Also, later on Friday, I don't think we had a PacMan logo. It was the first fully interactive Google logo on the Google homepage, and it was to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the game PacMan. Google had it up for like 2 days. If you missed it, you can actually check it out at google.com/PacMan. Basically, at first when Google launched it, it had sound on by default, and basically it was this weird, really annoying sound. And you can actually play the game on the Google logo. It's basically playing the game on the Google logo, which is pretty fun. And a lot of people were complaining, tons and tons of complaints, because people were at work and the noise was playing. And Google finally added a mute button. Anyway, so if you want to check it out, google.com/PacMan, and we actually made a way to embed that on your own website. That's about it. All right, so thank you very much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Today, again, is May 28th, Friday. Hopefully you guys will see you next week. And this is the news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. Thanks again for listening and participating.